Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your April monthly horoscope for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to our channel, we'd be delighted if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you've got some big things going on in your life and you'd like some expert guidance, why not check out my one-to-one testimonials by seeing the link below. It's one of the most enriching parts of my work, working in this way. If you'd like to ascend above your zodiac sign in an affordable way and find out more about what really makes you tick, please check out my personal horoscope reports. There's a special offer on a year's forecast and also a character analysis, 30% off. Please see the link below. Hello Aries, and welcome to your in-depth monthly horoscope for April. Now, as we start this month, the Sun and Venus are in your sign. Now, Venus is technically in detriment in the sign of Aries, but I think I may have said before, I really like people who have Venus in Aries in their natal horoscopes, because that technical debility, for me, gives people a spark, a desire to make something happen, particularly when it comes to the way they interact with others. But by the 4th, Mercury, the planet of communication, moves to join up with the Sun and Venus in your sign. And you know, this brings to an end a 3-week period where you may have felt that some of your hopes were kind of edging forwards, but perhaps not quite as dynamically as you would liked. Maybe you were drawing a lot of attention and a lot of interest to what you were trying to do, but maybe some details weren't quite there, or maybe you lacked a little bit of self-confidence to really make things happen. But you know, what's going to happen once Mercury moves into your sign on the 4th is you're going to gain instant traction and you're going to move into the present. And your sign is all about the present, because it's not about navel gazing, being an Aries. It is about having enthusiasm, drive, passion, listening to your instincts, your inner voice. And Mercury in the 12th house for you can make you a little bit worrisome, or perhaps lacking in the verve that really makes you at your best. So I think that this is an absolutely wonderful development for you. Now, it is true, however, that from the 4th through to the 14th, your ruler Mars, which is in your sector of everyday communications, is in a square with the dreamy energies of Neptune. What I would say to you is that Mars in the 3rd house is giving you a lot of appetite to express your ideas. But of course, not everybody is necessarily going to agree with where you're coming from. And I think that this particular aspect could see you worrying too much about those that just don't get you. I'd steer clear of people you know haven't got your interests at heart. We all have friendships with people that we like. We don't have any particular, enmity towards them, but they don't really float our boat. But people like that can actually be a bit of a drain on our resources. So if there is somebody around you who does tend to sort of be a bit underwhelming, their basic energy doesn't lift you up, it tends to take you down a little bit. I think that that's a relationship to steer clear of across that 10-day period. But it is true to say on the 12th, there is a very powerful new moon in your sign. Now, an Aries new moon is all about that initiation, but it is in a square with the energies of Pluto, the planet of truth, transformation, but also secrets and dark forces. So when it comes to the things you want to do that are very individualistic, just be aware you've got to keep the people who make the decisions on side. Now, if you yourself are a big decision maker, you've got to keep the people who work for you on side. So there is going to be a bit of a dynamic in the following month where you can make progress, but you need to be aware of the politics of your situation. But gloriously, Aries, in week 2 and 3, the Sun in your sign is forging a fab alliance to Mars in the sign of Gemini. And that can push back at some of the enervating energy of Neptune. Also, I should say that Mars in a square with Neptune from the 4th to the 14th could see you come into contact with someone who may try to sell you something and online because of Mars being in the 3rd house. Just watch out for any tricksters, because someone may misdescribe a product. They may not send it at all. If you are going to be involved in any kind of online transaction, I would carefully note all the details. Do it through some kind of buy-in secure platform. I wouldn't go outside of something where you wouldn't be covered. We all know, for example, if you use a debit card, it doesn't give you quite the same protection as if you use a credit card. And also, if you use something like one of the big platforms, they can also have buyer's insurance. So just be conscious of that. Now, in week 2, Venus in your sign is also going to be squaring up with Pluto. So the potential for leverage or power battles to play out in situations is once more reinforced. This is one of those situations where someone could offer you a job or an opportunity to make progress in life, but there could be some strings attached, but those strings may not be very obvious. Remember, Pluto rules the underworld, so it can be to do with crime, or it can be to do with deceit. It can certainly be to do with lust and money. So if there's something linked to someone, for example, asking you out on a date who seems very evocative and mesmerizing, but something about them seems almost too good to be true, like they want to come and collect you in your Porsche, in their very, very expensive Porsche, when perhaps you're someone who lives a pedestrian lifestyle, there may be a little bit of a mismatch between your kind of usual reality and theirs. That doesn't mean to say that someone like that can't be a good person. Of course they can. But when power, money and sex get into the mix, it can lead to people getting used. And I am your astrologer, so my entire focus is to protect you. But the chances of someone being very attractive to you are actually really high in the first 10 days of this month, because Venus and Mars, your ruler, are actually in a lovely sextile. And also on the 14th, Venus moves into the sign of Taurus, which it governs. I can almost guarantee you will see an uptick in your finances in the middle of this month. It's going to really be exciting for you. One of the great tricks of Venus moving through the 2nd solar house is to make sure that we don't spend the money quicker than it's almost coming in. So you may find yourself wanting to gorge on all the lovely things, where it's good food, calorific stuff, lovely wine. If the shops are beginning to open up again, you may want to go out and go on a big shop-a-thon, which would be absolutely understandable. Just keep a little bit back for yourself. Now, on the 19th, the Sun makes its way out of your sign and into Taurus to join up with Venus. And this occurs at 8:34 p.m. Universal Central Time. And this again can help your appreciation of the good things in life. But seriously, if you've been working very hard in the time since the vernal equinox on the 20th of March through to when the Sun moves into Taurus on the 19th of April, you can start to see the progress you've made. And that can be financially, or you could just start to feel, I really should have a sense of satisfaction and a sense of respect for what I've achieved. So do hold on to that. Now, it's also the case that Mercury is going to be moving on the same day. So if you are a business person, or you want to start your own enterprise, you're feeling entrepreneurial, you want to take a part-time hobby into something that's more viable in terms of your wider financial circumstances, Mercury moving with the Sun can be very positive for you indeed. Also, the 23rd sees Mars move into the sign of Cancer. Now, if you're wanting to make some physical changes at home, build walls, change the garden, add a water feature, rip out your bathroom suite, especially if it's that avocado one. No, I'm only joking. They've all been taken out ages ago, haven't they? It's all right. I won't tell anyone you've got it. But if you do feel like doing stuff like that, putting new doors on your kitchen, painting, that kind of stuff, Mars gives you a lot of thrust from the 23rd, but technically Mars is in its fall in the sign of Cancer. So it just asks you in the following 6 weeks to watch that you're not being a bit naggy or a bit defensive around emotional issues. Now, in the last 10 days of this month, there's a load of energy coming from Uranus. Uranus is going to be joining in on the Scorpio, the most intense full moon of the year, of the 27th. But we also have, from the 23rd to the 26th, we have Mercury combining with Uranus, and we also have the Sun and Venus connecting to Uranus as well. So a lot of electricity as this month draws to a close. And I think that's saying to you, don't be frightened to think outside the box when it comes to your approach to resources. So even if you're someone who's probably often held down quite secure jobs in bigger organizations, if you are feeling like doing something more novel, more innovative, finding a fresh way to make your resources work for you more effectively, then this can be a very enriching time for you. But it is true to say that the full moon is very, very close to Uranus. So the Scorpio full moon for you is about your shared resources. It's about your longer term finances. It's about where you may feel a bit more invested psychologically, or even a tad possessive. So in a romantic or sexual relationship, there can be a lot of sexual energy that's buzzing around as this month draws to a close. But equally, you may encounter somebody who surprises you with a demand or a proposal. It doesn't have to be a negative situation, quite frankly. But just be aware, with Uranus, things change quickly. But Uranus is also the planet of truth. So you may have to be very honest with yourself about the reality of your finances, especially if you've been affected a lot by COVID, as many of us have. But Uranus is just saying, look, you know, you're going to have to be realistic, and you may need to grab opportunities that come along very quickly, because with Uranus, it's an electric energy. So with it connecting with the Sun, Venus and Mercury in the last 10 days of this month, it's a time when you may have to be very switched on to what comes up, and that may mean making some snap decisions. And that, in the tarot, can be very much to do with the Judgment card when it comes to business. But he or she who pauses can often see an opportunity whiz by. But one of your great strengths is you can listen to your instincts and make snap decisions like no other zodiac sign, and can show great courage. So this may be a time to seize the moment in this last 10 days of the month. So a fantastic set of influences on the whole for you. I feel that week 2 and 3 link between the Sun and Mars can give you a lot of extra vitality to bounce or push back against Mars' square with Neptune from day 4 to 14. And of course, you know, we do have Pluto in a very powerful location in your sector of success, and it could be that someone influential may be asking or testing you out to see just how much endurance or stickability you've got. So some tough questions could be asked, or there could be some romantic opportunities with Venus and Mars so well aligned in the first 10 days. But on the whole, I think this is a month which you can relish, Aries, especially because you have that very vibrant new moon in your sign. Please take care, and goodbye for now.